Although we don't know much about the members of Yoda's species, contrary to popular belief, we do have some information on them, as well as several other members belonging to the species besides just Yoda himself. Many members of the galaxy often confuse Yoda's species with the species known as Lanix, with Jedi Master Evan Peel commenting on this on several occasions as he was confused with the Grand Master. Although it is possible these two different species shared some heritage, they are in actuality quite different from one another. In addition to knowing this, we are also aware that Yoda's species were largely carnivorous and led an almost solely carnivorous diet. Other than just Grandmaster Yoda, there were also several notable Jedi Masters that served during the Clone Wars era and even before this. There was one noted Jedi Master that served on the Jedi High Council during the Mandalorian Wars, and just like Yoda, was considered one of the finest Jedi the Order had to offer at the time. This Jedi Master's name was Vandar Tok'er. It was actually Vandar's final decision to train the memory-wiped Darth Revan in the Jedi way once again, and it was because of Vandar's decision to do so and give the fallen Revan another chance that the galaxy was ultimately saved. Other members of the species include Jedi Master Yaddle, who died just before the breakout of the Clone Wars conflict, but served on the Jedi High Council during her lifetime. Notably, no members of Yoda's species have ever fallen to the dark side of the Force, or even appeared to have been tempted by the dark side of the Force, as Yoda was only tempted a single time to embrace the darkness during his long life. In addition to this, all members of Yoda's species have led exceptionally long lifespans, with Yoda by far living the longest, but others living centuries as well. Interestingly, Yaddle herself lived to be almost 500 years old. Important to note, however, all of these members of the species were in fact Jedi Knights, and this may have contributed to their unusually long lifespans, although their species is also likely a major contributor as well. Yoda was also marked as a Jedi that contained one of the highest midichlorian counts ever recorded in galactic history, with the numbers reaching well over that of 10,000 in estimation. It was also recorded that Yoda's species did in fact at one point in time worship idols, but in what regard is unknown. Every single member of the known species, however, was confirmed as Force sensitive, but more than this, extremely and unnaturally so. Importantly though, there are very few confirmed members of Yoda's species. These Jedi Knights were also noted as being more wise than is common, even for a Jedi Master, and not seem to be as tempted by power, despite holding great potential in the dark side of the Force, as referenced before. No member of the species ever seemed to crave it, despite even Dooku stating that if Yoda desired to turn, he could surpass the power of the Dark Lord Sidious himself. All of the members of the species also spoke in different speech patterns, as they all spoke somewhat backwards, as this was not a trait strictly for Yoda, but one shared by all of the members of the species. Some have theorized that Yoda and the other members of his race are not a species at all, but rather a physical manifestation of the Wills, as described in the Journal of the Wills. They theorized that Yoda represents a sort of holy protector of the Jedi Order than an actual species from the galaxy. This belief mainly comes from the original concept of Star Wars by George Lucas, where he says this: "Originally, I was trying to have the story told by somebody else, an immortal being known as a will. There was somebody watching this whole story and recording it, somebody probably wiser than the mortal players in the actual events. I eventually dropped this idea, and the concepts behind the wills turned into the Force, but the wills became a part of a massive amount of notes, quotes, background information that I used for the scripts. The stories were actually taken from the Journal of the Wills." This theory comes from the idea that Yoda is this immortal being, or this will, that is recording the events of Star Wars. This is, however, only just a theory. Something interesting to note, however, is Lucas is adamant to never reveal the true origin of Yoda's species, and has specifically dodged the question now for over several decades. So that is everything we know about the species that Yoda belongs to, and where his true origins may lie in the Star Wars universe. So what are your thoughts on the origin of Yoda, and the fact that we still have no concrete answer as to where he comes from, now over 30 years after his first appearance in Empire Strikes Back? Where do you believe Yoda comes from, and do you believe his backstory should ever be explored, or should it remain a mystery for the remainder of the Star Wars mythos, and keep Yoda a mysterious but kind, wise Jedi Master? If you would like to join me in the daily Star Wars discussion and debates, follow me on Twitter at Stupendous Wave. Link will be in the description. If you enjoyed this video and feel it deserves it, it would really help me out if you could leave a like. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the YouTube channel to keep up to date with everything Star Wars related, from news, explanations, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. If you have any video topics you would like to see addressed in a future video, do not hesitate to leave them in the comments below the video, or again, tweet them at me. As always, your viewership and support means the world. May the Force be with you, and have a great day.